You know, AI agents, they feel like the holy grail, right? They promise to do the impossible stuff for us, research, code, ship actual work. But there's a brutal reality hiding behind that promise, the setup. Seriously, getting these things running can be an absolute nightmare of complexity, cost, and security headaches. So the real question is, can you actually get all that power without going through all the pain?
Look, this is not just some tech comparison, this is a strategic showdown. In one corner, you've got the established champion, the one that represents total hands-on control. And in the other corner, you have a challenger that's basically promising to throw the entire rulebook out the window.
And get this quote. It's from an expert developer, someone in the top 1% of users. They're admitting it can take hours just to get one of these agents configured the right way. Just think about that for a second. If a total pro is burning that much time just on setup, it shows you what a massive barrier it is for the rest of us. It's been the price of admission that's kept a lot of people on the sidelines. Well, until now.
Because that's the dream, isn't it? To finally just smash through that wall of complexity and get straight to the results. To have a tool that actually works for you instead of you having to work for the tool.
All right, let's meet the fighters. So in one corner, we have OpenClaw. This one represents raw, do-it-yourself power and pretty much infinite control. And in the other corner, we've got the new kid on the block, Perplexity Computer, which is built on this whole philosophy of zero setup and just getting instant results. These are two totally different approaches to getting a job done.
And this table just lays out their fighting styles perfectly. OpenClaw is the beast. You get full local control, you can configure it infinitely, but you own all the complexity. You're the one managing your API keys, your costs, all of your security. Then you've got Perplexity Computer, the contractor. It's cloud native, zero setup. You literally just describe what you want and it handles everything else for a flat monthly fee. It's kind of the difference between building a car from scratch versus just hiring a chauffeur.
Okay, but talk is cheap, right? Let's see how this contractor actually does in a real-world fight. We're going to put it to the test with some seriously complex tasks.
First up, we gave it a massive request. We told it to go research the top 5 AI agent tools, analyze all their pricing, their strengths, their weaknesses, and then build an entire interactive web app to show off the results. I mean, this is a task that would take a human team days, if not weeks.
It did it in 8 minutes. 8! Just let that sink in for a second. From one single prompt to a fully deployed interactive website. Now look, while that speed is absolutely incredible for a quick prototype, you have to remember the trade-off. A tool like the beast, OpenClaw, that's what would give you the power to fine-tune every single line of that code for, say, a mission-critical production environment. And just look at what it delivered. This wasn't just some basic flimsy page. This was a full-featured web app with head-to-head analysis, dynamic skill graphs, detailed pricing tables. It even threw in a light and dark mode, and we didn't even ask for that. The quality of what it produced is honestly just as staggering as the speed.
Okay, so it can build a static website. That's cool. But what about something with live, constantly changing data? For the next task, we upped the ante. We asked it to build a comprehensive financial dashboard to track 3 huge tech players, pulling in all the latest news, stock prices, and analyst sentiment in real time. And it delivered. Again, 12 minutes. This is so much more than just a data pull. The agent had to figure out how to structure live financial feeds, analyze all that information, and then code a full user interface around it. The efficiency here, just for getting a complex idea into a working reality, it's off the charts.
The dashboard it created was incredibly deep. I mean, it had live stock prices, revenue trends. It was even smart enough to analyze and separate the publicly traded companies from the private ones, like Anthropic, and present their data differently. It's that level of nuance that really makes it so powerful.
So, the obvious question here is, how? How is any of this possible? What is the secret weapon that lets it pull off these complex tasks so incredibly fast? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the gear and guts of this machine.
So at its core, Perplexity Computer isn't really just a tool. It's actually defined as a digital coworker. Its main job is orchestration, basically managing a whole team of specialized AI agents to get a project from a simple request all the way to completion.
And this is absolutely the perfect analogy. Think about it. You don't go tell a general contractor how to solder pipes or wire an outlet, right? No, you just describe the finished kitchen that you want. That is exactly how this computer works. It takes your high-level goal, and then it figures out which specialists, which AI models and sub-agents it needs to hire for the job.
So here's its battle plan. First, it gets the high-level goal from you. Then, it immediately deploys all these specialized subagents and routes each tiny little task to the best AI model for that specific job. So, for example, it might use a model like Opus for creative stuff, but then tap a completely different model for the hardcore data analysis. But the real magic happens next. It executes all these tasks in parallel. At the same time, that is the secret to its incredible speed. And finally, it assembles all the pieces into the finished, polished product.
So, after seeing all the evidence, it's time to render a verdict. But look, this isn't about choosing a single winner. This is about understanding the strategy and knowing which tool you need to deploy for which mission.
Yeah, this is not a knockout situation. It's all about picking the right tool for the job. You unleash the beast, OpenClaw, for your core, repeatable business automations. When you need to build something for production and you need infinite customization and total control over security and costs, that's your fighter. But you hire the contractor, Perplexity Computer, for those fast, complex, one-off tasks. When you need a fully functional prototype today, and speed is absolutely everything, it's the obvious choice.
So that's really the final question you have to ask yourself. For your next big project, what do you need? Do you need the raw, untamed power of the beast, where you're in control of every single detail? Or do you need the speed and the efficiency of the contractor who just gets the job done? The choice is yours.